What up, guys? Today I want to review episode 1 and 2 of Daredevil. I watched it when it came out, and there were some interesting things I wanted to talk about then, but I want to wait a few days before I drop this video out and make this video, because I do want to spoil what happened in the show in the first 2 episodes, because I know a lot of you guys are wondering, what direction the show went in, because after the show got canceled and Disney picked up the Netflix like Disney shows or like the Marvel shows, a lot of people were concerned about Daredevil and what they were going to do with it. They were excited that Daredevil was going to come back, but how were they going to handle it? Because Disney's been very well known for being more kid friendly and toning down a lot of the, seriousness of these shows, and or at least the more edgy parts of it, which they would turn stuff that should have been rated R into more PG-13 at most. And that was one of the biggest fears a lot of people had with the show until the trailer came out, where they were showing more like violence and stuff and a little bit of gore. And it was showcasing that the show was going to be a lot more violent and more mature, like the Netflix show. But the creator for this show also stated that this is going to be different than the Netflix show, which got a lot of people concerned. And, when they first announced it and all this stuff, I saw a lot of people's concerns about maybe they might change it and make it a little too, kid friendly or whatever. And I never had that problem, personally, because I felt like that they were going to be smart enough, as obviously, Disney's made a lot of stupid business moves, but it felt like they couldn't with this situation. They would be smart enough with it. I don't think they were going to make a big mistake, and I had a lot of great high hopes for this show. Being brought back, I didn't feel like it was going to be. I felt like obviously there's going to be somewhat of a change, but it wasn't going to be significant or bad enough for people to really complain about. So I was actually pretty hyped up compared to other people. I didn't have any really negative thoughts about it, so I was really excited to get into the first 2 episodes. And after watching the first episode, my excitement, my feelings towards the series being brought back and being done by Disney has changed. Which is ironic, because from what I've been seeing people do the reviews of these 2 episodes and talk about it, they've been saying, Daredevil's back, and the show is actually good and is great. And it's weird for me because a lot of people were very skeptical on the show coming back and how it was going to be handled, and a lot of people had more of a negative reception on it and were far more critical compared to me, where I was honestly more actually open-minded and more optimistic, which is kind of ironic because I was more optimistic before it came out, and once when I watched it, my optimism turned more to pessimism compared to other people, which they went the opposite direction with. So it's a little weird, and I'm not saying this just to hate on the series. I know a lot of people say that type of shit where, oh, if you don't like a certain thing or you don't like certain aspects of a certain thing that people do like, then they're just saying you're being a contrarian or you just hate it or whatever. And I'm not trying to do any of that stuff. I want to love the series more than anything, but I just can't sit here and pretend it's great. And some of you guys are gonna say, What is wrong? Is it so overly horrible?" I wouldn't say it's so overly horrible, but the decisions they made for certain things, I don't know why they did that. Now, let's just get into what happened in these first 2 episodes. I'm not gonna get into all the nitty-gritty details of everything, so I'll just talk about it briefly about some stuff that happened and talk about why I had a problem with it. Now, it first starts off with Karen, Matt, and Foggy coming out of a restaurant or a bar. They're just hanging out. They're talking. They're saying that, oh, we haven't seen each other in a while, and Hell's Kitchen has changed. A lot of these restaurants are changed and closed, which was like a cool little thing for us. And I was like, okay, this is nice. The introduction to it was a little bit slow though. There's a lot of like shots and panning around that they did before they started the scene. But it was okay. And then they were talking. I was like, okay, it feels normal. The vibe feels pretty good. And then apparently there was this whole little story thing with Foggy having this one client. He was gonna go to jail, and this guy's like an idiot and stuff. He called Foggy, and Matt is listening to him to hear what's happening, and he's saying, his client's like, "Dude, I'm in real trouble. I need your help. I need you here." Blah, blah, blah," and trying to get him to help him out. So he's like, "Okay, yeah, yeah, man, I'm gonna come there." And obviously, Matt hearing that is concerned, so he's gonna go and do something about it. So he leaves. As he leaves, there's a figure that comes out, and it's Bullseye. So Bullseye literally appears in the first episode, in the beginning of the first episode, which sounds cool, but I feel like they kind of butchered it. He comes out, I thought he was going to dress more like how he was in the comics. I know that this is his first time coming in as actual Bullseye. Last time he was just pretending to be Daredevil, and he obviously has his abilities, but he wasn't really into his persona at that point, and he's kind of into it now, but he didn't have the official costume. It looked like kind of like in the first season of Daredevil where Matt had his DIY fit. He has that too, and normally some people are like, well, that's okay because usually when these villains or these heroes become their character or persona, they don't usually have their costume right away. But remember, he's been multiple years have passed since season 3 of Daredevil and this show. So at this point, I felt like he should have already had an official costume, and instead of some like bunched up pieces of crap together, and just felt like it felt bad, but whatever. That wasn't really a big problem. He came out and he started attacking. He attacked the bar and the restaurant that they were prior into, and he was injuring people, killing people, attacking them with a weapon. I'm like, okay. And then the first sight of a problem that I saw was when Daredevil was on the roof and he was trying to hear what was happening and trying to locate him. He found out Bullseye was attacking. He went to swing, and as he did a swinging motion, it looked a little off. It looked kind of CGI and kind of fake. And this is a little thing that some people talked about. Some people disagree with this. I don't know how. You guys should just go watch it yourself if you guys can. But like watching it for me, it was jarring and it was off. But a lot of people were making it sound like it wasn't something that was obvious, and you have to be just being nitpicking or specifically focusing on it, but that wasn't the case. So he swings. I'm like, what the hell is that CGI? Why are they using CGI? They've never done it before. It was always practical before. And then he gets down there, and then him and Bullseye get into fight. I'm like, whatever. The fight's been great, right? The fight, the choreography, I couldn't even be focused on it because of how much CGI they were using in the fucking fight. And I don't know why they were using CGI, but they were. Matt and him are fighting back and forth, and as they were fighting back and forth, they were doing some sluggish, really jarring, movements. Sometimes when you see CGI, it looks like a computer generated, and like the body doesn't move fluidly like how you would normally do it. If I was to, have a video recording myself and show you like the actual physical demonstration, you would kind of understand. The best example I can give is the new Roadhouse movie. In the beginning of that movie, they had a fight with Post Malone, and he was in this there was this battle arena thing, and he was fighting. And as he was fighting, he was hitting the guy, and it looked so janky. The punches looked so. It looked. His body was drawn cartoonish. Like it looked like a PS2 game edition of a person's model. And then the movements were also janky and looked like that. And this is what this looked like. And it just put me off. And I wanted to love this show, but there's certain things like that where they put CGI in fights that just throw me off, and how am I supposed to like it, right? So I saw it, and the entire fight between those two was CGI'd as full. It was horrible. I just did not like that. So I didn't like that. And even prior to that, they did something stupid where Foggy got shot, and now he's dying. And I'm like, he's gonna die. He got shot dead center with a sniper. And if they're doing that, they're insinuating he's gonna die, which I don't know why they did that. I don't like that idea either, but going back to the CGI thing, so the whole fight was CGI. If you guys watch it, even if you guys aren't trying to specifically see it, you will see it. I wasn't even trying to do that. And a lot of people in the comment section of these other videos where they were like talking about it, some people were saying, oh, the CGI was pretty obvious and spotty. And some people are like, no, it's not. It's only if viewers are looking at it or wanted to see it. And you have to have a trained eye for it. Like, no, you don't. Stop fucking bullshitting. I don't know why people do this type of shit. Where when somebody points something out that they don't like or want to admit, they always insinuate it's some other reason, and they act like we are trying to do something and look into a certain way. I have had the most positive outlook on this show. I have never had a doubt or negative opinion. Even when the trailer came out, you're like, oh, I don't know. I feel like they're just trying to trick us. And I was like, no, man, it's gonna be good. I didn't make any videos, obviously, but in my own personal life, when I was watching the trailers and hearing about it, all the news and following up on everything, I was just excited. I had no negative thoughts. So I'm not like you guys. I'm the exact opposite. I wasn't looking at it in a very negative light to begin with. So for me, for the fact to see something like this, to call it out, it's not me just trying to, be a hater and then try to use this as an excuse to add to my, argument. Is just, I wanted it to be good and I saw something wrong and I'm calling it out. And it's not like I was specifically trying to see that. And it's also like, that's such a dumb thing. It's like, what? Do I have special, unique eyes while other people don't? Are other people just stupid and have never seen movies and can't tell the difference between a regular human's movements and somebody who has been CGI to move a certain way? So I just felt like that was just kind of cope, an excuse from a lot of these guys that are trying to make the excuse for it. I was like, it's obvious. It's blatantly obvious. You guys can even watch it yourselves. It was bad. And it sucks because in the Netflix show, when they had their fight, it was amazing. All the fights in the Netflix show were amazing. All, practical. They might have had some wires where they were doing, holding them up and stuff, but that's fine. I'm okay with a little bit of wire work. I'm okay with a little bit of non-practical stuff. But if you're going to do it, make it mostly practical. Why can't you? Like, is it because I mean, it can be because the actor is old. I'm pretty sure Charlie Cox is not that fucking old. I'm pretty sure the guy that played Bullseye is also not that fucking old. There's no reason for you to use CGI unless, I mean, even if they're old, you could just use, stunt doubles because they're wearing costumes anyway and they're in the dark. So you might as well just do that. Or just let them fight like that. Even if they aren't as good as they were before, which they were really good, even if they're not as good as they were before, I'd rather take that as a little sloppy over complete CGI. It's just jarring, And it's weird because you see Cobra Kai and you have people that are old in there. They're not using CGI for the fighting. They have kids in there. They're doing fighting and not using CGI. So why are they using it for these guys? You have like something like Kreese who's like 70 in real life. You have these other guys that are 50, 60 years old in real life. And yes, you can tell that they're like older guys and they don't fight, as good as they used to, but it's not, I never had a problem with that, and it's never put me off, but this did. So yeah, there is CGI fighting, and I don't know why they're not using any crazy superpowers or like some hulking beast where you require CGI, but whatever. And then them shooting and killing Foggy was stupid as hell too. I don't know why they killed him off as a character. I felt like that was dumb, and it was just a cheap way to make us be like, oh my god. And then a year had passed, and then they added this new character. I don't know her name. She was like this black female that Foggy was hitting on, and then he was killed right after. Which a lot of people said that this is woke and stuff. I'm not gonna sit here and argue woke, but I do think it's stupid that you got rid of Foggy for whatever reason to say, oh, Matt is gonna be a solo lawyer, but that's not the case because now she's a replacement for him. So it's like, you killed him off to replace him with a random new strange character that we know nothing about, that we just got introduced in the first fucking episode a few minutes ago. That was all she did was like flirt a little bit with, him. I think that was stupid. So yeah, they replaced him with her. And then also when Daredevil was fighting on top of the roof, he throws Bullseye off to the ground and he falls down. So he actually ends up pretty much supposedly killing him, but he does wake up and survives, which it doesn't matter because Daredevil was trying to kill him, which is crazy. I know he killed Foggy, but before that, he held on his code for so long. Even season 3, when he was fighting against it the most, he still didn't kill Kingpin for all the shit he did. So he didn't kill these guys for all the shit they did, but then he's gonna kill him. It's like, it kind of ruined it. Even if he didn't kill him, it's like he was trying to. And there's no way he could have known that he would have survived it, which also that survival was bullshit. I know a lot of people made some excuses for it, but I just don't agree with the excuses because and I'll explain why, but he does that. So I'm like, okay, that's out of character. So that's really bad too. And then he takes off his mask for some reason. And then there's one cop guy that was talking there, sees him, and he finds out that Matt is Daredevil. I'm like, what the fuck? They got killed off Foggy. We had a shitty CGI fight. They ruined a big potential good fight. They had, Matt breaking his code. And then when he even broke it, it didn't even matter because the guy survived anyway. And then he had him revealing his identity to a stranger. And he had replacement of a character with another character that we don't know shit about. It was just all around stupid decision after stupid decision in my, in my mind. So I was just like, what the hell are they doing? Whatever. So I felt like that was a little confusing with all the stuff there. So yeah, I was a little confused with all that stuff right there and then. But then the rest of the episode, there wasn't really much happening, if I'm being honest. There was a little fun talk between Matt and Kingpin, but also they didn't explain how Kingpin, not only got out of prison, not only how did he get out, but his public image just changed because now he's going for mayor instead of people like saying, yo, this guy is fucking like a nutcase. Also, Daredevil retired for a year because of the situation. That one I'm not mad about. I understand that. But yeah, they're like, oh my God, he's great. I'm like, dude, he literally blew up the fucking city. What are you guys retarded? Are New Yorkers? I know New Yorkers are a little stupid sometimes, but goddamn, are you guys this retarded? Like, he literally bombed your city. He literally had all these cops on the payroll being corrupt, killing these cops, killing innocent people. He bombed areas where people were broke, and then getting screwed over, killed an innocent old lady. He did a bunch of atrocities. Yet y'all are forgetting about it and just giving him a free pass. Why? Like, yeah, this is the guy we need. He's definitely the right mayor. You guys are fucking idiots. He did all that shit, and then they're giving Daredevil shit like, we need somebody who's out of vigilante. He hasn't killed anybody. He's protected people. This guy's killed people and hasn't done anything for you guys. What the fuck are you retards on? So it just shocked me, and I was baffled by, the how open they were. So I'm like, not only did this guy, you know, not only did he was he able to simply get out of prison, but he's also getting support, and people are ignoring the fact that all the shit we he did. Uh uh, right? So I'm just like, I'm just confused about that. But then, yeah, they have the talk, and then they have him, getting to be the mayor. They have like his running for the poll, which one of the guys was kind of annoying there. Matt was going on a date with this new girl. I don't have a problem with that situation. The rest of the stuff I really didn't care about. The first beginning, once we're at the beginning, with that whole fight, it ruined it kind of for me, and I wanted to just quit at that point. But I was like, no, I'm just gonna watch it. Hopefully, he gets better because there's 9 episodes. But yeah, that pissed me off, and it kind of threw me off. In the rest of the episode, there wasn't really much happening. I was crazy. I don't know if this happened in the first episode or the second one. There was I think it was the second one, so I'll talk about it in the second one. But yeah, the first episode was pretty disappointing. I did not like the beginning of it, and the rest of the episode was pretty meh. Then we go into the second episode. Now, the second episode, there wasn't anything egregious like that, but it was mostly boring. There wasn't much happening. Only the ending was pretty cool, but besides that, um, the rest of it was kind of boring. You had this whole thing with Kingpin trying to get people to, support him, like the police, because the police are not with him because of all the shit he did to them, which finally there's some people that do push back. There's a lot of people in the politics that don't like him for all the shit he did. And he's like, I understand. And then we also find out Vanessa. We find out that she basically took over the crime scene, which is weird. I know she was okay with him committing crimes, but she wasn't even enacting in the crimes at that point before, and she was just doing the art gallery. But now she's doing this, and then these mob bosses. And he shows up, and she's like, we're married, but we haven't seen each other for a long time." So I'm like, "What the fuck is happening with their situation?" And then it's just like, okay, whatever. This just seems weird. But then they had this whole scenario with him and the commissioner where he's trying to get him on his side. I thought that was pretty cool because it was showing because the way he's showing himself to Matt is like, I've changed, but then the shows that he's still the same way because towards the end of the episode he blackmails the guy, showing that he has a illegitimate child, and because the guy's like this, you know what? I don't like you, Kingpin. You can't do anything to me. I'm leaving, and I'm gonna screw you over, and I'm gonna get all the cops to get good stuff like benefits and shit. But then he blackmails him, and he actually does a power play, and I love the boss move. He's like, actually, you will not be quitting. You will stay. And on top of that, you guys will not be getting any bonuses. You will not be getting any free stuff. So the commissioner was basically holding him, not for ransom, but like holding him up for like a deal where he not only is going to screw over a Kingpin, but he's going to, give the police a bunch of benefits. But with him doing this play, he's blackmailing him and forcing him to stay, and then also screwing him over. And he's like, I'm not going to give you this. I'm not giving you that. I'm not giving the police department any of this. And you're not getting anything, and you're staying. You're going to take the deal, right? And the guy's like, I guess. I was laughing. I was like, that's so fucked up. He just told him right to his face, you're not getting jack shit, and I'm getting everything I want, and that's our deal. And you're going to be good with it, cool with it, right? Yeah, yeah. He bitched him. So the rest of the episode was just mostly like, politics and stuff, talking about that. Oh yeah, there's this whole thing about this white tiger guy. He came and he's attacking these cops. You know, there were cops that were jumping this guy, and he's trying to fight them. And one of the guys just lunges at him, and he moves to the side, and he gets hit by a train and gets killed. And as he gets killed, now he's being put into trial for murdering a cop, even though he was stopped up for police brutality. And then the guy that he was saved, he ran away. That bitch who fucking, hasn't said anything. So I was like, that guy's a punk for that. So he left, and for some reason the cop's roughing him, and now he's in trouble. And Matt and the other cop guy, they find out that he's actually a vigilante, and the white tiger. He has this amulet thingy. When Daredevil left, he basically took up the mantle as the vigilante to protect the city. But now he's in here, and then not only he gets found out, but also his lawyer finds out that. So now there's like a whole legal dispute there. So there's a bunch of legal stuff. I'm not gonna get into that because if I'm being honest, I don't really care about legal shit. It was cool in the Netflix show, but in this, I felt like it was just like, who cares? But so we have that with the whole White Tiger thing and being president, and also the actor did die in real life, so I don't think it's gonna be past this season. So you might end up dying some point later in the show. So yeah, it sucks for the guy. But going back to it, there wasn't really much. It was just, Kingpin trying to get used to being the mayor, which he didn't like, doing all this stuff and trying to change his public image, but also showcasing that he's still the stable Kingpin. Matt trying to protect this guy and help him out with his defense. And then also trying to deal with, Kingpin being elected, which he was kind of happy for him. His dating life also, because the woman he's dating, she's a lawyer, or she's a therapist and she's writing books and she's doing a book signing and all these people come to get their book signed. And one guy in particular, like, I really need your help. Can you give me a therapy session? And when I saw him, I'm like, this guy's obviously gonna be the muse. He's gonna be the muse in this story. But he's a little different in the comics. The muse was sadistic and evil and he was a psycho, but he didn't give a shit. He just liked his art and he didn't care about how fucked up he was. Whereas this one, he seems like he has actual problems that he wants to deal with. He just doesn't know it how to deal with it. So he seems less psychotic. He's still gonna do fucked up shit, I think, but I also do see it where he just needs help, whereas the other one doesn't want help or care about it. He doesn't seem to think that he needs it. So they did a significant difference in that. But it was interesting to see, and I saw it obviously. And then there was another guy I pulled up. This guy worked for Fisk that had the book signing, so he tried to get her to help him. And it was just to help her to be, a marriage counselor um, for Kingpin and Vanessa. Vanessa. I just have to say it that way every time because through the Netflix show, that's all he fucking said. Vanessa. I am my Vanessa. Like, dude, calm the fuck down. Chill out. You're really crazy, okay? But yeah, she's just being a therapist to them, but that's gonna lead it to some thing bigger later on. But then after this, Matt is finding the guy that ran away because he does trust the White Tiger. He just don't like the fact that he lied to him about that, and he was suspicious about him lying about something. So he goes, finds the guy. He's like, hey, I need you to, you know, I need you for the trial because you were there and you know what was happening. He's like, I can't, I'm gonna die, and these cops are after me. And then he can hear, he's like, you have to get out of here, man. What do you mean? And he got him out there. The cops came there. He's trying to stop them. They're not listening, so they start beating him up. And he wants to hold back from beating them, but they end up putting a gun to his head. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna go back to being Daredevil, or at least fighting like that. And he's beat the fuck out of these guys. He beat the shit out of them. And now this I fucking liked because there was no CGI. It was purely just practical. I don't know why they didn't do this from the beginning. Like, just leave it practical. Obviously Charlie Cox knows how to do the fight choreography. He's got the moves. He's got the skills. He's not that fucking old. He's not an old man. It's just Marvel trying to do that whole, let's make it crazy by using CGI because we have this budget. You're wasting the budget on stupid shit like that. We spend the budget on the costumes and all these other stuff, not on stupid stuff like that. If we're gonna do CGI, do it for stuff where there's like actual powers or crazy things, not on stupid things like that. I just felt like that was dumb. But yeah, that fight was actually pretty good, but it wasn't too long. It was just a short little fight. He slammed one of the guy onto his head, so it was pretty brutal. He was aggressive, and then he's like yelling, and then he has like his face is looking crazy. And also, the guy had a weird skull tattoo. I'm guessing it has to do something with the Punisher, but they're not acting like how the Punisher would, so I don't know what's happening there. But that was actually pretty good, and that's why people were saying the second episode was really good. The second episode wasn't that good. It was kind of boring. The only really good thing was the ending, the fight, and that's the reason people were saying it was really good. But besides that, the rest of the stuff is like, I don't really care about the rest of the things. I don't care about White Tiger stuff. Oh, Kingpin thing is pretty interesting, but it's at a point right now where it's just starting, so it's not as interesting as it should be. And it was cool to see a little bit of an introduction of the Muse. But yeah, definitely still better than the first episode. The first episode annoyed me, it really disappointed me, and then it just bored me. And then this episode was mostly boring, except for the last part, which was pretty cool, but that was it. Yeah. So this series, I don't want to shit on it, but for the first two episodes, I was not very excited. I was not very pleased. I'm gonna obviously watch it throughout the whole thing. Uh, it is a letdown. I wouldn't say that it significantly feels different than the Netflix show, but it isn't as up to par, and it doesn't need to be super perfect, but just don't do CGI and stuff, and have a little bit more better writing and be a little more interesting. Don't waste. And you have episodes that are like 50 minutes long to an hour long, and you have mostly nothing really interesting happening. That's not that's kind of stupid, you know? If you have that much time to showcase what's happening in the show and you wasted on nothing scenes or boring scenes, is like, why? We don't need to see all this other stuff. Also, now Karen and Matt have problems with each other, which I don't know why. They have a rocky relationship now. Is just a weird drama that they put in between the characters. But yeah, I'm excited to see the Punisher and all this other stuff. Also, I know the show is getting a second season already, and the Punisher is also getting a show. Hopefully, Punisher they have no CGI in those fights because it is going to be less brutal to see when like there's a bunch of CGI and it's going to be more ridiculous. Also, Matt fucked those guys up badly. He broke one of the guy's arms. He broke the guy's fucking arm, and then the other guy he smashed his head into the fridge, busting a skull, and then smashed his head right onto the thing that looked like he stabbed his fucking neck on the ground. He was just crazy, but he's trying to hold that shit back. Which I just want to see him going back to being Daredevil again. That's gonna be cool. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it and stay tuned for next time.